Today I will present you the Herewear project, which is a Horizon 2020 European project being coordinated by TCBL. So it's really my pleasure to introduce you today to this project, which started about 1 year ago. So first of all, I'll just give you an overview of what we will discuss today. So I'll give a short introduction on the Herewear project and on TCBL. Then I will highlight some first activities and some take-home messages. So first of all, it's good to know what is the Herewear project about. So in general, this is actually being shown by the image below. So on the left side, you see how the clothing industry is mainly working at this moment. You see we have the production of the raw materials, for example, in the Middle East. Then we go to the production of the actual garments in Asia, for example. And then finally, the clothing, once they are made, they go to Europe. And after their end of life, we still see a lot of incineration and landfilling, which is, of course, something that we do not want. So in general, in Herewear, we want to support a transition to a more sustainable clothing industry. And how do we want to obtain this? So first of all, we want to work with bio-based materials instead of fossil-based materials. As a second, we also want to have a more circular economy, and that's why you see all these different circles spread over Europe. And why do we have this spreading over Europe? Because we believe if you want to make the clothing industry more sustainable, you have to set up local value chains and you have to work locally. And that's of course why we are also in this meeting, in this event today, also focusing on the local aspect. So to summarize, in Herewear, we want to obtain a more sustainable clothing industry, and this by counting on 3 pillars: circularity, bio-based, and local manufacturing. And I'll just go a bit more in detail in each of them to show you how we will work on each of these topics. So as a first, we have the topic circularity. Here we will develop circular design guidelines to support designers, to support brands, how to work more sustainable, more circular. And also to support them further, we will develop software tools, like for example, to find manufacturers or to see how can we work, what are the guidelines to work more sustainable. Also, these guidelines will be based on a more optimized use, but also reuse, recycling, repair of materials. What's also important is that there will be some labeling and some traceability options to find out how these clothings are made and if they are really sustainable. And as said, in a circular economy, you want also to avoid unintended release. So that's why there's also a focus on the minimization of microfiber release, because that's something which is also to which textiles also have a great or big contribution to. Then looking to the second pillar, which is on the bio-base. So I imagine that most of you know that in the clothing industry, cotton, polyester are the materials which are most often used. And actually both of them are not the most sustainable materials. So that's why within the Herewear project, we want to find alternatives for these materials. For cotton, we will work with cellulose instead of cotton, which is made from bio-based sources, like for example, straw or even manure. Looking to the polyester, we want to replace the polyester by biopolyester materials. And once we have the base materials made, also all the coating, the printing, the dyeing will be bio-based. Then finally, looking to the third pillar of the Herewear project, which is on the local facts. So here we want to obtain or to realize a network manufacturing where we can work at small scale via micro factories, and in this way work locally on a sustainable way. Of course, if you want to do this, you need to have people and actors involved. So that's why within the Herewear project, we also want to build a community of like-minded actors all over Europe to support us in the transition. So then in general, looking to the value chain that we are having within the Herewear project. So you see here, we start from the bio-based materials, we go to the yarns which are being made, then we go to the fabrics, and finally to the garments. And of course, if we want to close the circle, also the recycling, the end of life should be involved and should be investigated. As you can imagine, many tasks need to be done, so that's why we're doing this within the framework of a European project, and you see all the partners involved here listed. And TCBL is then the proud coordinator of this project, and in order to understand a bit more why we are coordinator of this project, I just will shortly introduce you to what TCBL is and what we are doing. So TCBL is a research and technical center located in Belgium. Historically, we have a strong focus on textiles, but we are also working a lot recently on plastics. We are in total with about 180 people, and looking to the activities of TCBL, you see they are divided in testing, research, and services. And in order to do all this work, we need to have, of course, some laboratories. So we have well-equipped testing laboratories doing all kinds of physical, chemical, fire, and microbiological testings. And then we also have some pilot platforms where we can do some prototyping, some work from lab scale to pilot scale. This is on coating, on finishing, on the extrusion, and then also on the textile manufacturing, like, for example, knitting or weaving. If we then look a bit closer to the research strategy of TCBL, you see that we always work close with the industry. And that's, of course, also within the Herewear project. We have this close cooperation with research institutes, but also with lots of companies. Then also sustainability is of great importance to TCBL, doing this by resource efficiency, but also circularity, recycling of materials, and the use of biopolymers. And of course, these two are being handled within the Herewear project. And then to end, if you look to our mission statement of TCBL, where we say that we believe that Europe is really a fascinating textile landscape, and that we are proud to be part of it, and that we are proud to be to meet all kinds of passionate people. And that's, of course, also why we are organizing these types of events as today, to see how we can connect with other people passionate about textiles. So far, introduction on Herewear and on TCBL, and then I will just give already some first results that we obtained within the Herewear project. Of course, we are running only for 1 year, so it's not that much at this point. But still, as a first, I can already inform you that we were able to produce an alternative to the fossil-based polyester materials. We did this based on the use of a bio-based polymer, being polylactic acid, combined with other biopolyesters to improve its properties, to have some better comfort properties than PLA would have on its own. And by doing this, we were able to produce some textile materials, which you can see here on the bottom slides, having good mechanical properties and also good comfort properties. So these have possibilities to be used in the clothing industry. Besides the making of the yarns, also some bio-based coating work has already been done. And this is based on PLA and PHA, which are both bio-based materials, a coating which is being developed by TCBL and where we have a patent pending. We see that we can make these coatings, which you can see also on the pictures, and we have good properties like a good biodegradation, also good abrasion resistance, while the washing resistance is something we still need to improve further. Then as a last activity, I would also like to mention the Herewear community, because of course that's something really important. If we want to have this local value chains, we need to have actors over these value chains present. And to gather the interest of these people, we are also setting up a Herewear community. And if you sign up to this community, you can see the link on the slide. You will have access to some dedicated information and can get into contact with a broad network of like-minded people. Also, it will be possible to get involved in some project activities. So this just to mention, if you're interested in what you're doing, please sign up to our Herewear community. So this as some first activities within the Herewear project, and then just to end, I'll give you some take-home messages. So as a first is that if we look to our first activities within the Herewear project, we see that it's technically feasible to make these bio-based textile materials. What we also see is that if we want to make the clothing industry more sustainable, we really need to work together to cooperate with different disciplines. It's needed, and we need to have innovation in each of these disciplines. And then as a final asset, we really need local partnerships over the full value chain to make this transition possible. So again, a warm invite to join our Herewear community. And with this, I would like to end the contribution of the Herewear project. Thank you a lot for your attention.
Thank you very much for this clear explanation what we are aiming at with this project. Just as the same question as I asked the other two speakers. What is the takeaway in one sentence?
Yes, I think the takeaway is if we want to make the clothing more sustainable, we really need to cooperate. I think that's the most important one.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.